go down. Rock that run, that's where we're from. Whoop whoop when you run, come around. 'Cause now you're the talk of the town, yeah. Now you're the talk of the town, yeah. Now you're the talk of the town. Whoop whoop when you run, come around. Whoop whoop when you run, come around. 'Cause now you're the talk of the town, yeah. Whoop whoop when you run, come around.
When you hold me, there's a place I go. Is a different high. Oh no. When you touch me, I run real low. In a different light. Oh no. I used to cynical to the leading miracle. That just slipped through my hands, but could you take a chance on me? Can you forgive it all? To the leading miracle. Yeah, I believe somehow that I'm asking you to me. To the leading
So at my last job, I was working across several different groups. You know what? Let me practice that one again.
Okay, when you're ready, tell me about the job that taught you the most.
Okay. Well, it was a role where I learned to take constructive criticism.
I think she like, oh, nope, doesn't like it.
Okay. I got pretty used to, working long hours with a small team. I got very comfortable multitasking. And I had to become really organized.
Not bad, but try rephrasing your answer to sound more confident.
Right. Okay. I was asked to make a lot of quick decisions and do a lot of negotiating. One more book.
Talk about your experiences working with others.
Oh. Well, I'm at my best when I'm collaborating. If it's for the team, I'll do whatever it takes.
This job description you shared mentions on-the-job training.
Well, I am a fast learner. I don't always have all the answers, but I get the job done. A little gas. No matter how long it takes. And I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. But most importantly, I show up every day, no matter what.
All right, last question. When it comes to work, what motivates you?
I guess knowing that people can depend on me. And knowing I can depend on them too.
That's a great answer. Sounds like you're ready.
Hey James, thanks for joining us.
It's good to see you all. Been looking forward to talking.
Sign up and get $23 off per month your first 3 months of YouTube TV and watch up to 4 NBA games live in multi-view all season long. With YouTube TV, try it free. Terms apply. Cancel anytime.
I've had my heart so abused, and now it just feels like I'm not enough. Scarred memories of the past, they don't seem to fade away. I just wanna be somebody to you and love you even though I'm hurting. I hope that you're holding on like I do. I'm not scared to be alone, but don't leave me now, I want you to stay. 'Cause baby, your love, it takes the pain away. I need you more than yesterday. 'Cause only your love, it takes the pain away. Give me a reason or two. Tell me the truth even when it hurts. I hope we stay happy. Don't wanna start over and over again. I just wanna be somebody to you and love you even though I'm healing. I hope that you're holding on like I do. I'm not scared to be alone, but don't leave me now, I want you to stay. 'Cause baby, your love, it takes the pain away. I need you more than yesterday. 'Cause only your love, it takes the pain away. Don't leave me now, I want you to stay. 'Cause only your love, it takes the pain away.
All right, everyone, how y'all doing? Good morning, good morning. Let's see what we got here. I need to play some other kind of music, shouldn't I? I should definitely play some other kind of music. Yo. No. All right. Good morning. How are you guys doing today? Everyone's having a good Wednesday, hopefully. I am very happy to say I am feeling a lot better. Slowly but surely, I am feeling a lot better. I am trying to lose weight, so I've been losing weight. Not very much, but it is the start. And I also have a spider bite, and it's driving me nuts the past like week. It's swollen my leg in a very uncomfortable way. Ow. Anyways, so this morning is going to be a short little stream, short one, very, very short. I just wanted to wish everyone good morning. I am still working on a lot of stuff mentally and physically for me, so I'm trying to keep up with all that stuff. We'll see what happens. I'm just gonna stay on YouTube. I was gonna try and do a Twitch stream this morning, but then I was like, you know what? Just focus on it. Focus on it. So we're gonna be doing that. Don't forget to have your cup of coffee if you haven't already. Delicious. All right. So, things are happening. Things are definitely happening. I'm planning on doing quite a bit more stuff on YouTube. We'll see what happens. What else? What else? My life. There was something I wanted to say on stream. I'm trying to think. Is it Twitch or Kick? I don't remember. Oh my god, he's still streaming?
Too close to a personal vehicle to be able to.
Mother! Are you kidding me? Okay, so this guy is quite literally. I'm not even gonna explain. Oh, let's see. Moosey is online. Oh, yes. Feel no right. I do miss Skull and Bones. I do miss it. Home? IRL? Na 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 na. I don't know where any of this is. All right. I do wish Kick has a better communications thing with their viewers. But of course, no one's gonna do it. Who's this? Bruh. All right. I don't know where or whoever these people are. I don't know where they get the money for this stuff. Kick partner first class. Very unique color coding. Not. Um. You see, I sometimes wish I can get back into Kick, but there's literally it's just no growth on Kick. I'm not gonna say anything about this channel. The more I'm gonna say something about it, the worse I'm gonna sound. I wish I could have my own studio on the side. Light up a cigar. Just chill. Wake and bake. Good old classic wake and bake. Wake and bake. Bacon, bacon, bacon. My first stream. Let's see who this person is. Relatively good quality.
Mustang normalde de durmuyor zaten. Tabi.
I would follow if he was actually speaking English. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna do it. All right. Is there any other category I can look up? IRL, maybe? IRL. Actually, wait. Can I go to YouTube and see if there's any YouTube IRL streams? Live. Oh, hello. I'm on the first list. Let's go. All right. Ashes tomorrow, dark ambient. Okay, yeah. Surviving brilliant New Japan DayZ map. Okay. Lord of the Rings Lo-Fi Radio. Okay. Is there any other categories? Ooh, excuse me. Holy crap. All right. So, I don't know. Gaming, maybe? I don't know. Live and wait. Go back. Wait, that's not live. Why is it telling me it's live? Oh no, it's down here live. Okay. That's not confusing at all. 100 Days Solo on Sea of Thieves. Scum single player. Let's see. You see, I want to find again. Oh no, is there an update for? I'm not even gonna watch this. I'm nothing to do with Rust. Ever. Podcast maybe? I don't know. Paranormal Files. History hint. Azkaban Origin. Wow.
Ever since Hulk Hogan addressed the Republican National Convention last month, people who know that I am a professional wrestling fan have been asking me to say something about it, have been asking me for my reaction to it. And I wasn't going to say anything about it because, to be quite honest, yes, I am a professional wrestling fan. Not really a Hulk Hogan fan, at least not anymore. And I just didn't feel like it was worth commenting on. And then earlier this week, another Hulk Hogan Trump related story broke, where Hulk Hogan was at an event in Ohio promoting his new brand of beer and having a little party to promote his beer. And he was caught on video saying this.
You want to get crazy? You want me to throw more beers out? You want me to body slam somebody? You want me to body slam Kamala Harris? I said, do you want me to body slam Kamala Harris? You want me to drop the leg on Kamala? Is Kamala a chameleon? Is she Indian? Okay, I like it. How?
That video was first published by TMZ, and I'll have the link to the TMZ article in the video description if you want to check it out and read more about it. But a few things to say about what you just saw. First of all, that call and response he was doing with the crowd, where he would say a line and then the crowd would come back with what, and then he would say something else. Wrestling fans know this already, but for the uninitiated, that's not Hulk Hogan's bit. That's a Steve Austin bit. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay, this is ridiculous. You do that to any party or whatever. If you get a chant going, everyone keeps with the chant. That's just... It's not a copyright strike on that. Come on.
Steve Austin came up with that. Now, I know it's wrestling, and we borrow each other's stuff all the time. It's not that big of a deal. Hulk Hogan hasn't done anything here that any other wrestler hasn't done a million times before. And plus, you know, it's like a private event at a bar where he's just having a good time with the fans. It's not like that egregious of an offense. But just for the record, that was some Stone Cold Steve Austin shit he was doing. That wasn't some Hulk Hogan shit he was doing. At least his act at the RNC with ripping the shirt, at least that's Hulk Hogan's bit. He didn't go up there and do Steve Austin's bit, right? But anyway, being a wrestling fan and being a somewhat conscientious wrestling fan, trying to be a somewhat responsible, enlightened, tolerant, open-minded wrestling fan, trying to be a wrestling fan that does not fall into the stereotype of what a wrestling fan is and who a wrestling fan is.
Okay,
And what a
this
wrestling fan
guy
worldview
deserves a
would be.
thumbs down because this guy's just ranting. I mean, he can have his own opinion, but this guy is 100% just ranting. No reason whatsoever. He's just ranting because he doesn't like Hulk Hogan or something. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Why is there no good music anymore? All the good music's gone now. I would rather, like, I don't know. And then, of course, YouTube's gonna copyright post everything. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I have my music. Let's pause this for 1 second. Let's pause this. I go into my channel, my files. Sorry.
Here's a fun slang ominous song about Dark Neural, his psychic ally Buckethead the Skeleton, and their chaotic adventures on the Sea of Thieves. Hope you enjoy Dark Neural and the Psychic Skeleton. Out on the waves where the shadows creep, Dark Neural sails with the promise to keep his psychic friend, old Buckethead, with empty eyes but full of dread. They board the ships like ghosts from night, stealing treasures in eerie light. With bananas cooking on the stove, they laugh as smoke begins to roll. Dark Noodle's crew, fierce and mean, the wildest crew you've ever seen. With Buckethead sight and fire aglow, they raid the seas like a deadly show. Buckethead's skull glows faint and blue, a psychic power known to few. He senses ships and tells their fate with a bone-chilling laugh and a knowing gait. But Bananas fly from stove to hand, weapons of chaos in our command. Shucking fruit while battles roar, our twisted tricks bring crews to the floor. Dark Noodle's crew, fierce and mean, the wildest crew you've ever seen. With bucket head sight and fire aglow, they raid the seas like a deadly show. Through cannon blasts and swords that flash, they face their foes in a frenzied clash. But Buckethead's vision steer them clear of ghostly dangers. They have no fear. When the battles end and the night is still, they watch the stove with the wicked thrill. One last banana burns to char, a pirate's beacon seen afar. Dark Neural laughs, a sinister tone, a psychic friend beside him. Bone for bone, across the seas they ride in might, feared and famed in the darkest night. The Dark Noodle's crew, fierce and mean, the wildest crew you've ever seen. With buckethead sight and fire aglow, they raid the seas like a deadly show. So raise a mug, a toast in hand, to Dark Noodle and his spooky band. With psychic powers and bananas ablaze, they rule the seas in a haunted haze.
Hell yeah.
Let the verses capture the spirit of their mischievous rays.
Alright.
Raise a mug, a toast in hand, to Dark Neural and his spooky band. With psychic powers and bananas ablaze, they rule the seas in a haunted haze. Let the verses capture the spirit of their mischievous raids.
I forgot about the little quote at the end. Holy crap, I forgot about that. And this is the one I wrote.
He wears a bucket
Upon his head.
crackling noises and bones do tread.
I over outdid myself with this song.
That he wishes, but never does finish the cooking or the raising of thine anchor. He's always late and that's his looking. He runs to the cannon, always just too late, but it doesn't matter. He's already inside to board thine enemy vessel, and drops their anchor with so much pride.
I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh. I got this so perfectly. I mean, he's not the same anymore with like boarding and stuff, but every single time he drops their anchor and he boards them, and he's just like, yay! Any pirate, bucket upon his head. And he's stuck cooking, raising of thine anchor. He's looking. Just too late, doesn't matter. Wait, is there another? Wait. I need to ask. Actually, I need to ask Buckethead right now. All right. Who loves coffee?
Drunk coffee so good, roll loves coffee weather. It's 6 a.m. or 11 p.m. Dark loves coffee, it's always coffee time for Dark on
That's what I should do, is just make a bunch of remixes of like, not remixes, just a bunch of songs about me and my player base. I think that would be fun. That'd be interesting. See, this is a chill version. Hey, 11 p.m. Bum, 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 bum. All right. Let's go back to YouTube. My phone here. Rock and roll loves coffee. All right. And then see, Pitbull made some good songs, but I honestly don't think they have anything to do with me. I just, there's nothing that like talks about the channel or anything. It sounds good. It's a good song, but there's nothing of information about the channel.
Wake up with a smile, start the day with high vibes. Good morning, sunshine, let your sweet times arrive. Sip on your coffee, let it warm up your soul.
Okay.
Time for a fresh start, let the good
I'm
vibes
down the road.
Moon is here, switch it up and have a cup of tea. Feel the calmness, let it flow through
You and me.
Afternoons are for streaming, let the fun begin. Happy weekend.
Is there anyone else who is actually playing?
Good at family, keep those bonds strong. Master the art of scheduling, keep life going along. Stay positive, radiate good vibes in every way. Just keep feeling like the champion most of today.
All right. Where's the other one? There we go. Where's the other one?
Blue hair, blue shades, blue jacket, camel pants, that's all you need. That's a signature stance. His darkness is mad, mad, I say. Crazier than a hatter on a clock's display. But wait, there's more. Rocknell in the mix, playing video games, going furious bits, raging at nothing at the streaming stairs. When that man in the dark
Wow, there's like no one online. Who is even?
help me, oh help me, it's the end of day.
I want to see if they actually exist.
A madman's ways going crazy. Oh yes, it's true. Running fast, but he might catch you unaware.
Is this?
Song inspired by the world of Sea of Thieves,
Ah.
complete with themes of boarding, battling, and a sinister allegiance to Flameheart. Hope you enjoy Flameheart Crew. Hoist the sails, the winds are howling across the waves where ships are prowling. Boards be creaking, cannons roaring, enemies near, no room for ignoring. The crack of steel, we leap and bound, an enemy ship, the doom we found. Check the stove, that banana burns. We claim the deck, their fate now turns. We pledge our souls to Flameheart's call. With Captain Dark, we rise or fall. Across the seas in fire's name, enemies tremble, bound in flame.
This is such a good one too.
Skeleton clanks and sways, guarding the hold in a haunting daze. But we fight through bone and ash. Enemies fall, we make our dash. On we sail, no time to rest. Battles rage at flame heart's behest. Left and right, we clash and fight for eternity, bound to this cursed right. We pledge our souls to flame heart's call. With Captain Dark, we rise or fall. Across the seas in fire's name, enemies tremble, bound in flame. Borders come, they try and fail. We'll send them back with a stormy wail. With cannons blast and cutlass swing, for flame heart's glory we bring the sting. In the night,
Oh my god, it's so good.
beacon dark against the sky. The seas may rage, the storms may churn, but with flame heart's fire will never burn. We pledge our souls to flame heart's call. With Captain Dark, we rise or fall. Across the seas in fire's name, enemies tremble, bound in flame. So raise a cheer, raise a cry, for flame heart's crew will never die. Eternal
Which one is it?
fierce and free, we rule the waves, the cursed sea. Feel free to add a hearty pirate growl when you sing it.
Oh man. Wait, is this the one that What is this? I never even heard this. I never heard this part.
Borders Comfy. Borders Comfy. They try it by the world. Of sing it.
Okay, I never. Okay, that's just AI being weird. This is it.
With cannonballs flying and flames in the sky, our sails tattered, hopes sinking fast. Then came the mad ship, cutting through the blast. Oh, the mad ship sails, bold and true. When our fight seemed lost, they saw us through. With the sea as a witness and stars shining bright, we honor the mad ship that turned the fight. Their cannons roared, a thunderous sound. With every shot, they held their ground. The toxic foe fled before their might. The mad ship stood, a beacon of light. Oh, the mad ship sailed, bold and true. When our fight seemed lost, they saw us through. With the sea as a witness and stars shining bright, we honor the mad ship that turned the fight. With barrels full of treasure and a heart so kind, they left us supplies, no debt to bind. Buckethead raised a cheer with thanks on his breath, but the mad ship vanished, swift as death. Now wherever the waves may carry our tale of the ghostly mad ship with a skull on its sail, we'll raise a tankard and in song we'll say, may we meet them again on a fairer day. Oh, the mad ship sails, bold and true. When our fight seemed lost, they saw us through. With the sea as a witness and stars shining bright, we honor the mad ship that turned the fight. So here's to the ship that saved our crew, the mad ship's spirit, brave and true. Forever remembered on all seas wide, their ghostly shadow sails by our side.
Hell yeah. Good song. It just works. I mean, this one. Okay. What would be the best one? I think no matter what, the Buckethead song is number one still. It's a strong one. And then I have to say the honorable one is so good because we know the event and it actually describes it so well. But I don't know.
Here's a song inspired by the world of Sea of Thieves.
This one is such a good one too.
Battling and a sinister allegiance to Flameheart.
Oh, this is such a good one too. You know what I mean? Like, it's so good.
The winds are howling across the waves where ships are prowling. Boards be creaking, cannons roaring. Enemies near, no room for ignoring. The crack of steel, we leap and bound. An enemy ship, the doom we found. Check the stove, that banana burns. We claim the deck, their fate now turns. We pledge our souls to Flameheart's call.
This might be a strong number 2 actually. To Flameheart's Call. Flameheart's Call, I think. Can I not rename this? Oh, come on. Oops. Sorry. There we go.
Clanks and sways, guarding the hold in a haunting daze. But we fight through bone and ash. Enemies fall, we make our dash. On we sail, no time to rest. Battles rage at Flameheart's behest. Left and right, we clash and fight. For eternity bound to this cursed right. We pledge our souls to Flameheart's call. With Captain Dark, we rise or fall. Across the seas in fire's name. Enemies tremble, bound in flame. Borders come, they try and fail. We'll send them back with a stormy wail. With cannons blast and cutlass swing. For Flameheart's glory we bring the sting. In the night our flag flies high, a beacon dark against the sky. The seas may rage, the storms may churn, but with Flameheart's fire we'll never burn. We pledge our souls to Flameheart's call. With Captain Dark, we rise or fall. Across the seas in fire's name. Enemies tremble, bound in flame. So raise a cheer, raise a cry, for Flameheart's crew will never die. Eternal battles, fierce and free, we rule the waves, the cursed sea. Feel free to add a hearty pirate growl when you sing it.
It just works so well. All right. So what we're gonna do now? I don't know. What should we do? Good breath. All right. Cigar on the bench, find the smell in. Coffee stand, the darker side. I'm gonna say Buckethead number 1. I'm just gonna call Flameheart's Fire, whatever it is. And then I'm gonna do the honorable one, which is technically the Mad Ship. And then well, actually, maybe I don't know, because the banana song is what made the whole thing about bananas. But unfortunately, the Mad Ship song quite literally has memories built upon it. I don't know. It is really hard to think how you're gonna do that. Let's listen to the banana song again. It's so good though. The banana song's really good too. If I could just make everything a 1 and a 2, I would do it. Because I would put the Mad Chip right next to the Buckethead. Maybe even banana song.
His psychic friend, old Buckethead, with empty eyes but full of dread. They board the ships like ghosts from night, stealing treasures in eerie light. With bananas cooking on the stove, they laugh as smoke begins to roll. Dark Noodle's crew, fierce and mean, the wildest crew you've ever seen. With Buckethead sight and fire aglow, they raid the seas like a deadly show. Buckethead's skull glows faint and blue, a psychic power known to few. He senses ships and tells their fate with a bone-chilling laugh and a knowing gait.
You can't beat it, man. You just can't beat it.
In our command, shucking fruit while battles roar. Our twisted tricks bring crews to the floor. Dark Noodle's crew, fierce and mean, the wildest crew you've ever seen. With Buckethead sight and fire aglow, they raid the seas like a deadly show. Through cannon blasts and swords that flash, they face their foes in a frenzied clash. But Buckethead's vision steer them clear of ghostly dangers. They have no fear. When the battles end and the night is still, they watch the stove with the wicked thrill. One last banana burns to char, a pirate's beacon seen afar. Dark Neural laughs.
All right.
Sinister tone, a psychic friend beside him, bone for bone. Across
Am I gonna have to play Sea of Thieves now?
feared and famed in the darkest night of Dark Neural.
I don't want to do it. All right.
Crew you've ever seen. With Buckethead sight and fire aglow, they raid the seas like a deadly show. So raise a mug, a toast in hand to Dark Neural and his spooky band. With psychic powers and bananas ablaze, they rule the seas in a haunted haze. Let the verses capture the spirit of their mischievous rays.
Okay.
Raise a mug.
All right. So, what are we gonna do now? We're trying to figure out. I'm confused about that one. All right. Anyways, let's go ahead and go back over here. Wait, gaming. New Megs, Fact or Fiction.
Just days ago, the world changed forever with the revelation that new Megalodon variants exist within the Sea of Thieves. Indisputable online verified footage of 2 new Megalodon proves that we're now even more less alone than we were before. And that's worrying. If these underwater terror beasts are here to stay, then we need to start asking the hard questions. How will these new Megalodon affect our existing ecosystem? What will become of the shark teeth, the screamy fish people, and the colourful dumbfish? What has the reaction to this news been like on social media platforms? And why are these vicious shipbaiters so reluctant to step onto the land? And how can we use that to our advantage? Our team spoke to the experts who say they have some of the answers.
And just how dangerous are these new Megalodon?
About this much. But experts are dumb, and I don't trust them or their years of specialized education.
Okay.
So instead, we need to find out for ourselves. So join me on February 20th as we explore what it means to be mega in Sea of Thieves.
So we have 8 days.
Wild Things.
Okay, so we have 8 days till the update. Oh my god. Oh, this is gonna be so bad, man. Okay, let's see the season 14.
Season 14 of Sea of Thieves.
All right, let's switch over here. Can we show? Oh gosh, I have to customize everything here. All right, over here. Over here. Oh, okay. Add. Display capture. Okay. Okay. Close that. All right, so here we are, and we're gonna open this up full quality as best as we can, and pray and hope we're not gonna kill ourselves.
Season 14 of Sea of Thieves is just around the corner. And in it, we're unleashing.
That is season 14. What? Okay. What? Okay, wait. Okay. Here. 4 months ago. No. Where is... Okay. So they don't even have a video? Season 14. No. Season 15. So this is all they have? Okay. All this time. Why is it buffering? Why are you buffering? Okay, let's start from the beginning. There is nothing remotely interesting about this video. I'll tell you right now, all right? They're going to be adding it looks like different fish baits or chum. They might be adding chum. And obviously a new chest, another don't tell me this could be another kind of skull. Of all the skulls that we don't ever see, we don't see the regular skull. Why don't they just keep the regular skull? Why don't they just keep items and replace them? And add more use to the other ones? I just can't handle it right now. Sea of Thieves is messing up big time. Season 14 podcast? I don't think I've ever saw this one.
Transparent. We want to talk to our community a little bit more. We want to try and make the podcast a little bit more regular than it used to be. I think when we did the podcast before, it was kind of like, well, when, we could just do it whenever.
When we could squeeze it in. It was as and when, wasn't it? And it was always fun to do. But I think now making a more conscious effort to use the podcast, because it's a lot of fun to do them as an outlet for information, to chat, and what's coming next, what's going on with the game.
Exactly. So the way that we're going to run...
This just tells you all about this guy. He has a Monster energy drink next to his other drink. And it's not open. You can tell it's not open.
On the podcast.
He has it up there because he has to. That's all.
And it'll probably land around that sort of midpoint in a season. So you'll have had a bit of time since the season launched. We can kind of reflect on a season launch. And we might even be able to tease what's going to happen in the next season as well. But also, that's not the only thing that's making a return. We just recently brought back the developer update. Drew, do you want to talk a bit about the developer update? Why we brought it back as a standalone video?
Yeah, it's great to be back. I think there was a 4-year gap between the last developer update and this one, so a slightly larger gap.
Was it really that long?
Yeah, it was.
Standalone ones, yeah.
Standalone 2020. And over the last year, we've used SOT News to deliver kind of game updates.
I
that allow us to
forgot
talk
to
a little
have
bit
my
more and expand
chat
on the actual
open.
game experience and things that we're doing, things that aren't working quite well, how we can go and improve the experience. But I think it's been a nice return to form.
Fix your servers in your game. Bugs, lag, server connection, and how well you run the game. Now, granted, I'm going to give you Sea of Thieves /Rare. Your servers are running better than Rust servers, technically, but still shit.
To be able to come back in the tavern and a space to be able to talk a little bit more openly without the croppings of, hey, there's a video that needs to go out and it needs to be of this length. I can at least now talk in a bit more longer form about things. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice to be back into that rhythm of dropping those. We'll be dropping those monthly. So it'll always be ahead of the next update. We can always reflect on what's been happening, things that we need to update players on, and an opportunity for us to tease not only what's coming in the next update and talk a little bit of the lower level stuff, that maybe things that excite us on the patch notes that don't necessarily end up in the trailers and videos and that resonate really with our players. And then the opportunity to talk about some topics that are potentially a little bit further on, like the recent one we talked about, the Safer Seas changes that we're going to be making in December. So an opportunity to look a little bit further out ahead.
Nice. One of the other things we're doing, and we're adding it to Sea of Thieves News, we actually did it on the last Sea of Thieves News, was a first look segment. So that's sort of looking at a feature that, again, might be a little bit further away and sort of just giving a brief insight to that. Now, I will caveat that is we're not going to do it in every Sea of Thieves News episode. We'll try and do it as often as we can, but I think introducing these back into Sea of Thieves News was kind of important because I think people have always liked getting that kind of glimpse ahead at what's
Peek behind the curtain.
Exactly. It's really nice to be able to show what we can.
They're all drinking and they're like, oh, I can drink now. I can drink now. Oh.
Surprise and delight players at the right time.
I guess the point is there's always...
I don't know why, but I always feel like there is a lot of, am I allowed to do this? Is it okay if I do this? And I'm not sure if I should speak up, but should we be doing this? About the people of working in Rare. And I think it's all, I mean, it's you're working with your boss and your boss is telling you what to do. Obviously, you're a little bit nervous because you don't want to lose your job, which shouldn't be the case. But I feel like he's one of the leaders. This other guy on the right over here out of the camera, he is the main leader. And then all the other guys are kind of like, have been here.
Yes.
Yeah, we're always working on so many things across content, bug fixes, the core of the game. There's always something to talk about. So be sure you don't want to do podcasts every week.
Weekly podcasts?
You could edit that, couldn't you, in time?
Nah. So let's talk about what's been going on with Sea of Thieves. So what has been going on with Sea of Thieves? Obviously,
a lot
I think
of
we
shit.
should sort of maybe take a little moment to reflect on the launch of season 14 and what's been going on there. Who wants to take that one?
I actually thought you were going to have a minute's silence then for season 14. I thought that's where you were going with it. I was like, wow, this.
Who wants to take a moment? And,
I think the beautiful thing about the podcast and all these different channels and avenues of speaking to our players is it's going to allow us to provide some nuance and some context. And I think for this one, I think probably talking about season 14, it feels like a good space for us to cover that, because I think we can all admit around this table it's been pretty tough.
It has.
We've taken a little bit of a battering, and it's tough. And I feel this is obviously going out at the end of November. I think we'll have those kind of shaky first moments of season 14. Will hopefully rewind those out.
They're acting like it's been. I mean, season 14 is where it really smashed them in the face, and they're like, "Oh crap!" But they're blaming everything on season 4. It's been like this for years. months and months and months and months. And it's been steadily getting worse and worse and worse throughout the years, like 2-3 years since I started playing. I remember when I was playing Sea of Thieves on my old computer, it was technically running smoother and better, and it doesn't make sense now.
Out, and we'll be kind of hopefully hitting our stride.
You can't even
But
be
it's
on
been-
your
it's
own
been
boat
pretty tough.
without
It's been pretty
lagging,
tough for my team on the end
which
of kind
is
of player frustrations, which are
terrifying.
absolutely and totally valid. But I think we've made some really tough decisions. I think to make sure that fundamentally we're prioritizing the retail experience of the game, even if that kind of compromises our release schedule, which has fundamentally been the case, right?
Just going to say, I think speaking openly, the community don't need us to reiterate. There's people that make the game, and we have feelings, but like that, I think is kind of separate to how people feel when the game that they love isn't working correctly, and the content that.
The reason why it's working and not working, the reason why it's working is because everyone remembers when they first started playing, and they want to keep it. And they feel upset whenever you lose. Like, let's say you have an old pair of shoes that's your favorite pair of shoes. Even if there's holes and your toes are sticking out of the shoes, you just still don't want to throw away those shoes. I feel exactly the same case with Sea of Thieves. I feel exactly the same case, I'm sure, with any other game, including Rust, and I didn't want to throw away. And now I'm throwing it away, and I'm trying to move on. It's hard. Sometimes it takes a long time, but it's the same thing with Sea of Thieves, and their creators, their main content creators, the partners. Number 3 would be, I would definitely say that the old player base. The PvPers, the PvEers.
We've got them excited about, we've extolled the virtues of, hasn't landed the way we intended. And I think it's easy for me to say that all of this comes from the place of we want our game to feel vibrant, that it's always changing, there's things to be excited for. Sea of Thieves is the place to play.
You don't need to change it. Rare. You don't need to change it. You have anything and everything you need for an amazing game. Like, for instance, you don't need to add new chests. Make chests relevant again. Make digging sites and forts much more valuable. Oh, it would be too OP, too much loot. That's the point of doing these things. Then make it more dangerous. Make it harder. But don't make it to the point where you're doing this for 5 or 6 chests, or 3 or 4 skulls, or 7 skulls, or whatever, and you're sitting there going, I could have done this by just harpooning the loot in the water. Or doing digs. Digs are the most valuable thing there is. I hate to say it. Which I don't think the case should be. I think forts, and particularly when you go down and do your Gold Hoarder event,
Adventures
should be worth
that
more.
Kind of goes out the window a little bit when the game's just not working.
Especially if you're earning more
correctly.
XP from them.
I think it's come from that place of always wanting to update the game and add exciting things, but the foundation on which we are adding things is shaky, to be honest. And I think the integrity of that game experience when you play Sea of Thieves, we want it to be as stable as possible. So yeah, there's definitely there's definitely a lot to reflect on with the launch of Season 14. It's been tough.
And just to sort of recap then, so Drew, do you want to take us back to day 1 of Season 14? What actually happened there, and what was the issue that prevented us from releasing several features into the build?
So yeah, I think it can be broadly summarised that we struggled with quality control for Season 14. As a broad statement.
I don't. Okay, it's not called quality control. It is 100% skipping a step. So, okay, for instance, okay, I'm just gonna explain this in the easiest possible way I can. If you go on a long road trip, what is the first thing you should think? You should think, should Are my tires full of air? Do I have oil, plenty of oil? Are my brakes good? Is my car working the right way? Do I have a warning light? Those are the things you don't think about. Oh, what do I put in my car? Or you don't think, oh, I need to have breakfast or lunch in the car. Let me set up the lunch and breakfast in the car. Yeah, it's what makes the road trip more fun and more interesting is having the good breakfast, the good food on or in the car with you. But the reality is safety. Safety first and what and how it runs and all that stuff. That's what's important. And that's what they did. They skipped that step, which should be the most obvious, simple step.
And I think I reflect on the need to be delivering content regularly for us to commit to our season dates. And in the past, we would have continued to ship those features and strive for quality and strive to get fixes in. I think we tried to do that as part of season 14, but what it resulted in was us assessing very late in the day that there was a couple of key features that just weren't up to quality bar. And we unfortunately had to make those decisions way too late. Like that is a challenge of quality control that we just didn't spot those things until too late.
And they're still not going to acknowledge that they didn't look at the car. They didn't check the car. That's the problem. Is they didn't check the car, and they're still pretending that there was nothing wrong with the car. So it's like a kid who is going to college and he went 12-hour road trip, but without checking the car, and then he's blaming his mom for not giving him the lunch that he wanted. I'm just saying that.
We had to make the decision around. We made the
It's
decision around
immature.
traps. We made the decision around disguises, around crouching and hanging from ledges. And unfortunately, those features just weren't at quality at the time we needed to ship the build. I think it was an incredibly painful decision, but the right one to pause those features and give us the time to go and fix them up. I know that was difficult for us, for the team, for our players. It was a difficult decision to go make, but I think we're reflecting on what is the most urgent priority for us, and prioritizing the player experience and holding our hands up and saying, hey, this feature isn't ready, and holding that feature back when it's the right decision is going to be tough, and it's going to be a muscle that we probably haven't exercised in a little while.
And speaking absolutely honest to players, I think similar seasons have gone a similar way before, and honestly, because of
You're kidding, right? You think. Also, remember how he says
It's going to
that.
be tough, and it's going to be a
Watch
muscle
his
that we
face before he
haven't
finishes
exercised
for
in a little while.
Look at this.
And speaking absolutely honest to players,
Watch his eyes.
I think similar seasons.
He feels guilty because he knows. He knows that something went wrong. He heard the player base, and they decided to ignore it. And he feels guilty about it.
Seasons have gone a similar way before.
Which they should.
And honestly, because of last minute fixes or the actual impact in the game hasn't been that broad in a negative sense, we've got away with it. But I think
You didn't get away with it. It's like a child who lied to their parents and they thought they got away with it, even though they actually are still in trouble. No, you didn't get away with it. You ignored it. There's a difference.
it's almost like season 14, all the chickens came home to roost. And that kind of Hail Mary fixes, we didn't get them in time. So we had to make the difficult decision, as Drew says, to turn these things off.
There's always a flurry of activity in the last few days before any release, as we try and cram in qualities, we try and polish everything up as much as we can, but ultimately there was just a few too many things this time round.
And you get you do get the signals early, don't you? You get the signals that, well, we know that, looking at the roadmap, Trapsy's going to land.
They're just
in a
building up
state
their
where we
story.
can review it and assess the quality quite late in the day. And we might know that halfway through the season. The last thing we want to do is go, well, that's it then, cut traps. But we've already got excited about traps. We know our players are going to love them. So we go, oh, it'll be all right.
That is such an immature idea. Please don't tell me that's how you make up your ideas. Last second. You should have a booklet of exactly what you do for that year. Like you've been telling us, you have had ideas for seasons of 2025. Are you telling me you're just coming up with these ideas just before release and you just add them in? Like last minute idea. No good business will ever do that. Oh gosh. Okay. Okay, Rare. Okay.
And sometimes it's just not all right.
I think to that point, sometimes the cat's out of the bag with our insiders, and they're like, "This is wicked. This is amazing."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, we can't
Yeah.
take it off you now."
Yeah, this is it.
You know, we've made some decisions like that similarly. I can't remember if we've talked about this publicly, but the grapple gun.
Yes.
Obviously, the grapple gun was supposed to land a little bit earlier than where it did land.
Yes.
And that was to make sure that we had the kind of
Which it never should have, might I add. Particularly if it's not even remotely a weapon, but it counts as a weapon.
right nuance and kind of right balancing for that to land right. That was supposed to be
I would rather them make it an ability if you use the harpoon on the actual ship. And instead of adding a harpoon gun, they make it so there's like a double or triple harpoon, or make it like a singular chance that you can harpoon more than one item. I would rather have that than a whole nother thing that is not a thing.
a season or two before. If I'm
It was. The grapple gun was intended as part of that tools focus of season 12. And it didn't go all the way to the end, but it got about halfway through. And we thought, we're not going to have anywhere near the amount of time. It was so far out that we thought, we still want to do it, but let's save it for a future season. That season became season 14.
Also allowed us to take on a lot more feedback from the insiders as well, which was invaluable for that weapon.
And obviously, so it was a bit of a rocky start then for us.
It's not a weapon.
Christina.
It's not a weapon. Doesn't count as a weapon. It's not a weapon. If you get to shoot things out, okay, that's a weapon. But if it's only to grab certain non-explosive things or whatever, you can't do that.
What was the sort of general reaction from the community?
I mean, it may not surprise you to learn. It was mixed.
Yeah.
And I think for just full disclosure, like full credit to the teams internally, especially my team who managed messaging this. It's really tough to just go out there and be like, sorry guys, all that stuff we promised you about 4 days ago in that really great video, that's not going to land. So we have to obviously message it in the most honest and best way we could, and then deal with the frustration. I think, Mike, to your point, some of that's super valid frustration, right? They're not getting the tools that they were promised, or the game isn't working as we intended.
Right.
It doesn't excuse some of the not very nice words that are used sometimes in some of our social spaces, but so certainly the source of that frustration, we felt it ourselves, as fans of the game and as players and as team members, that this is not how you want something that you've poured a load of love in to land, especially when, sentiment about the features before they launched was so positive. Everyone was incredibly excited about this season. Our kind of season 14 content update video was, I think, one of the most watched that we've had.
Okay, I'm going to say this right now. We were excited. I want to speak for myself, personally. I was excited about it because I wanted them to fix it. I wanted them to fix the game, fix the servers. I did not care about all this flame heart, harpoon gun. I didn't traps or the least okay thing I liked. I wanted them to fix the game. I wanted them to not add anything new. I wanted them to fix the game. That's every single season should be, oh my God, we need to fix this. Can you fix this? Oh, they're going to fix this because there's a new update. No, it's seasons are now known as where everything gets worse. That's not a good thing.
In recent times, because people were just like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
So for it to then land the way it did is really hard. I think there are a lot of expectations that we missed, and hopefully we're on our way, on our path to kind
Everyone's
of
expectation was
some of
to
that kind of, like-
everyone's expectation was you to fix the servers and the lag and maybe try and get the game running in a smoother way. I think that's the main thing.
I guess kind of enjoyment of Sea of Thieves and kind of the in those new features. It was particularly like I think a little bit devastating for me for disguises because in like the day they were live, the amount of ridiculously dorky,
it was great, wasn't
adorable
it?
clips with just like little chests waddling
Yeah,
around. I was like,
so
this is a bit like I never even thought, you know, when you sit and watch it and review, oh, cool, someone's going to use that for hiding. Think of all those use cases. You don't just think about a full crew just waddling around this chest and the kind of comedy value of that. So, yeah, no, obviously their disguises will have been live, I think, for a couple of weeks now when this podcast comes out. So it'd be really nice to kind of see that kind of positive energy come back around season 14. But it's been really difficult, kind of on the front line of player frustrations. And I think credit to Drew and yourself for pulling together kind of a video to kind of go explain about what's been going on, kind of giving our players state of plays, whether it be on the forums. We've done a lot of explaining and hopefully kept people abreast of what's been going on, even though it might be not what they want to hear. So we've done our best.
It's a shame when going into this year, you know, we made it, and we said it on a few occasions, panels, you know, on our forums, that we wanted to make this year the year of Sandbox, some Sandbox refresh. And I think I myself, like, teasing that last year, like season 14 was very much in mind and what the feature set was, and internally we often called it as a classic Sea of Thieves update. This is all the things to drive those stories, but at the same time, with what's happened, people are absolutely entitled to feel disappointed, you know, paying customers financially but also paying with their time. Like, I absolutely you know, we're all absolutely gutted by the situation, but we're in a better place now, and we just need to ensure that the quality of the action.
You're not. You're doing better, but you're not noticeably changed anything in a positive manner fully. The servers are still break. I can actually almost imagine the servers and the computer itself running overdrive and burning on fire. Like, that's how bad the servers are running. I can feel it.
The build live is the focus.
Well, yeah, speaking of that, it's like, obviously, Drew, you've spoken a little bit about this in some of the other videos, but what are we kind of doing now? What's been put in place to sort of prevent something like what happened with season 14 happening again?
There's some short-term things that we're doing, which is, hey, we've got by the time this goes out, we'll have already delivered our November update, so we'll be heading for our December update. So there's some short-term stuff, but the big changes are the mid-term things that are just going to take some time to put into place. For the short-term stuff, like, there is just a general heightened focus across all of us in terms of quality control. That is from the teams working on the features, to the leads that are reviewing progress, to the production team that are trying to manage and keep on track and assessing what risks are coming through the features and making sure we can ship those features at quality. And I think that is going to result in us making difficult decisions where we need to, of saying this feature for this release is just not ready. We're not going to take features late into the process or take fixes late. We're actually going to make pragmatic decisions a little bit more upfront. Those are going to be difficult, but they're going to be the right decisions.
I guess what you're saying, one of the if I can glean a positive from what's happened, is that season 14 has happened now.
Yes.
So that factors into the decisions that we make.
Yeah. So that think.
Speaking about myself there, by the way, when I'm really pushing for a particular feature, I'm going to have that sobering thought, as in, this is it, red alert. This is another season 14. Need to be careful.
Alongside the pragmatic assessment of where we're at, we've been trying to improve the flow of communication with insiders as well. I know there's been some frustration about insiders saying, "Hey, we reported these types of issues," and I'll be honest, trying to navigate through the forums is a bit of a challenge when we're on the run towards a release, trying to pull together all of the information about what is critical. As part of November's update, we did a little bit of an ad hoc process to kind of create a space that allowed insiders to target, this is a critical experience issue. You should go and sit up and listen, and this is a thing that you should go fix. and pulled that outside of the normal. This is where you can talk about bugs and the general reporting flow. That was really helpful for November's update. We had a number of issues that were surfaced in there for the first time that we went, okay, Christ, we need to go jump on those things. So I think just a general improving the flow of communication. And then November's update actually had longer time in internal test and with insiders than we would normally do. And we'll be following that up in December and onwards into future releases. So we are not just looking at short-term solves. We're definitely going, hey, Sea of Thieves, we've got to go and look at longer-term opportunities to improve how we work.
Nice. And I guess part of that sort of longer-term focus on stuff like game health, that's kind of where you come in, James, as well.
Yes.
So you're obviously leading this team. And like, do you want to just give a bit of information about what you and your team are up to at the moment?
Yeah, sure. So for a long time on Sea of Thieves, we've basically had like the engine team and a lot of different gameplay teams going towards creating features or seasons that have come out. But it's usually been up to those teams individually to effectively pay for the features they bring to the game. So if you're going to spend some CPU, you've got to save it elsewhere. And the running joke is that we've been out of memory for 6 years. And like it's been a constant joke that we have to try and mine the memory mines to find something back to pay for the next feature. Yeah. So the game health team is basically set up to be a dedicated resource to try and address some of those issues. They're a bit of a catch-all team that can try and help out in many different places. So we listen to community about if there's anything we can do. We listen to design and production where they can steer us. So
I'm just going to say this right now. Them deciding to ignore and make it a joke about their game should be a sign.
Try and take in features or work from a lot of places, but it boils down to, at the moment, we're looking at exploits, we're looking at game stability, and we're looking at perf investigations. So this dedicated team are going to try
Game sustainability. Sorry, words. Should always be number one priority. I'm sorry, but that's personally my opinion. And if the game don't run, if the game's not smooth, and if you don't have good graphics and or not graphics, good FPS or ping, that's on the gaming company.
Try and make Sea of Thieves more stable, run better. However, it's not an easy job at all. This is going to be a slow and steady continual progress. So a lot of the work that we're looking at doesn't necessarily have predictable timelines. So there's going to be a lot of investigations, a lot of poking, hopefully some wins as well. But we're trying to look at the big stuff rather than just can we get through to this next season, which is nice, like looking at that longer term picture.
And Drew, like, why did you think it was important to have a dedicated team focusing on that sort of stuff?
I think it's to JT's point. There's almost and every game team has got their season to go shoot for, or their live event that they're going to go and run at. Like every team has got their core focus to go and shoot for. Yeah. And when you're working towards that next beat, it's always difficult to then find time within your team to also divert to that hot exploit.
Find the time. It's your job to do it.
I think we got ourselves
your
into
game.
a structure on Sea of Thieves where every team had a clear next deliverable. Yeah. And game health problems or live incidents or exploits were just always something that stopped us getting to that next delivery of something. So that we trialed for a number of years.
Sounds almost like an excuse to me.
We can ask you to beg, borrow, and steal some resource from here to try and focus on the high impact stuff. And it got us some way towards addressing those things. But it was always tough. It made the features that we were trying to deliver as part of seasons more difficult to go and deliver. So in the same guise that we've addressed seasons, live events, all of the various different work streams on Sea of Thieves, a dedicated team with ring-fenced resource is the right way to go and tackle it.
I hate to say this, but I personally, having a whole separate team, having in charge of this, will either fix it or it'll make it worse. It depends on the communication of the actual company, and it depends on the communication of the gaming community and the company. And of course, it depends now because there's a whole separate group who's in charge of this, of that group to everything else. So now you have a perfect triangle that is connected, supposedly perfectly connected in the perfect world This triangle is a full triangle. It just means they added another part of the triangle instead of making it a line. Now it's a triangle. So let's see if they actually have that communication. Personally, I think they do not have that communication. By everything that I've heard about Sea of Thieves and the community from Sea of Thieves. So we'll see what happens. But if they actually fix it, they fix it. They don't, they don't.
I think the challenge for Game Health is that
And we
there's
know
so
why
many
if they don't.
features to go and focus on.
And we know why if they
It's
do.
not just the engineers or designers that are the good quality resource going to try and fix the things. It's really nice having producers and production involved to own that problem, to pull in the different disciplines to try and solve it. Because again, when it was spread out between the game teams before, it was, well, yeah, we're looking at this, but planning this. So it was
Bad communication. That's simple.
it was all too easy just to like maybe knock it to the side if the
Bad communication.
season release was coming screaming over the horizon. So
I'm curious about, is there work that's made it into a build that you guys have already been working on, or is there stuff coming soon that you can talk about?
yeah, there's been some bits and pieces. He says, checking his list. Like the team have been up and running for like a good couple of months now, so it's still new, but they've been able to make some impressions. So they fixed glitches where you could get stuck in the tunnels in Hourglass that used to drown a load of people. We've handled invitation bugs on PlayStation. We've been freeing up memory places. We've been sorting out commendation blockers, and looking at mesh fallbacks as well to try and recoup some of the performance things. So there's a lot of little things already going in there, and there's a number of investigations still going on.
That's good. That is really good that they have a list. They're telling us what that list is. It's probably not the full list. He probably has another 2 or 3 dozen things that he's doing, but they think is not relevant for us to know. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing they have a list. He's telling us exactly what is part of that list, and that he's making this list. He's doing it. That's a good thing. That's communication.
I'm going to ask you about those.
Okay.
Because I know who's going to be watching this, and I know they're going to be excited about
Okay.
some of the things you're exploring. Some of those
Interesting.
kind of long-standing bugs or issues we've had reported that just have been kind of present for a period of time. Things like Merchant Alliance. Merchant Alliance.
The crates.
Crates.
Okay. Yes, we've got an engineer dedicated to having a look at the 2 biggest problems on crates, which is 1, not giving them, and 2, giving too many. We need to find a happy middle ground of giving just the right number. So yeah,
Giving Goldilocks, to be honest. Yeah,
Yes.
I love that.
yeah, but we've got someone investigating that right now. which is
Perfect.
good. We've also
Communication. I'm simple fact. Everything runs smoothly if there is communication. People act on that communication. She did amazing. She was communicating with someone, and then that someone communicated with her, or it's the other way around. And then now she's communicating with him, and he's actually explaining the situation and communicating.
also got a couple of other investigations going on. Booty, one of our.
Please elaborate.
Please elaborate. Yeah. There's certain choices I think we made 8, 9, 10 years ago that we might have changed if we knew where we were now and just how prevalent certain items in the world would be. And so we've been looking at the telemetry, we've been looking at the data and going, actually, there's a nice correlation going with the more booty items, more treasure items that you have on our server, the worse it probably performs. And this can be because it's floating in the water, it's taking up memory on islands, people are interacting with them.
I'll be honest with you. Take away majority, if not all, of the things in the water, things on islands, and make it so then if you're doing a certain quest, then it will spawn. I think if you got rid of all that stuff, now don't take away all of course, the barrels with resources in the water, because that does make invaluable things. but make it so that maybe there's 1 or 2, maybe at the most 3, and you've already halved the amount of items that are in there. Not to mention, if you make them even more rare, then you actually have even like 2/3 more room for more things. And you could either you could probably actually get rid of a large percentage of like certain things, like maybe less mermaid statues, even less, because how many times have I seen two mermaid statues on islands, one island or island next to each other, you know? Make it only on the really tiny, small little islands that no one cares about, but people just bump into. That would make more sense than the big island, you know? So in that area, there'd be even more area and room for. Just ideas I would like to suggest to Rare if they ever do hear or see this. But seriously, like, there's also, of course, like the amount of things that you just find on an island itself. I'm gonna be honest with you. Get rid of the random resources on beaches, including the food. Keep the barrels. But get rid of all the random items that are on the ground that you can grab and loot. I don't think very many people use those stashes of loot on the ground. And when I say loot, I mean like the resources, like the wood and food that you see on the ground. Like, it's nice to see those sometimes, but how many times I've been on an island and I actually grabbed something from those stashes? Almost never, you know? So it's kind of a rip right there.
So they're quite complex objects compared to what they should have been.
This is all the physical treasure items, isn't it?
Yes.
Mermaid gems,
Yes.
chalices,
Yeah.
chests.
If you can pick it up and hand it in, that's what we class as a booty.
Referred to as booty.
Yes.
Internally.
I think just on that one, it's worth us acknowledging that we know that storing lots of loot items on ships and storing things in a vault is it's a great gameplay experience.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
a great
yeah.
shareable moment of seeing ships full of treasure.
Yep.
So we're not knee-jerking into, okay, cool, let's reduce the amount of treasures on the server. But there is a pragmatic approach.
But our players will know, right, that back in 2018, if they've played that long, there was a lot less items that you'd find as part of a voyages out in the world. Now there's, like, you know, the beaches are like the poor Maldives, like the beach in the Maldives. There's that much stuff washed up to shore, isn't there? Like, it makes the sessions really rewarding. And when the vault opens,
Decrease that, if not delete that. Add more chests in those special events like the digs or the caverns, the caves. But get rid of all that extra random stuff. Maybe add 1 or 2 every like 5 islands of one item. You don't need multiple things on one island. You don't need it. I don't care about all that stuff. Even if it's in the water. If it's in the water around the island, get rid of that. I'm sorry, but like, if it is making the servers run bad, should be an obvious thing to fix. And then you can add more things to the things that you get from those events, those XP, those, you know, the actual real loot that you really want to grab.
in a Skeleton Fort vault, you want to see that bonanza of treasure to go after. So, but that comes with the performance here, right? Which is what you're looking at.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, we're not going to try and take away anyone's
not.
treasure. We want to make it so that we can put even more in, because I've seen some of the plans and the plots, and there's always going to be something tastier for pirates to go run around and fight.
You don't need to add more. I keep saying this. You don't need to add more things. You have plenty of the exact things that we want and need. Maybe add one chest every year, every 4 or 5 seasons. But you do not need a new 3 items, 2 items, 1 item every season, which is every few months.
Fine.
Efficient booty is what you're saying.
Efficient booty.
It's my nickname, so that's good.
Now, I know that there's probably one other thing that you guys are looking at that everyone would like to know, have a little update on, and that is Easy Anti-Cheat. What's the current status of Easy Anti-Cheat, and is there anything we're changing about how we're using it?
So Easy Anti-Cheat, that's been in for a little while now, and I know there've been hiccups with it along the way, but despite some of those hiccups, like, it's still really performing well. Like, we know for a fact that it's blocking thousands of cheats every single day. So there are still some getting through. This is why the game health team is around, to try and fix the exploits, to try and shut things down. But yeah, Easy Anti-Cheat is superb for what we need it to be. It's shutting off so many little avenues that we do. We are looking at trying to upgrade it, because obviously it's a system, a service that will keep on being tweaked as new nefarious ways are found across the seas. But we are having issues with that, so we're engaging with Epic, with Easy Anti-Cheat, to try and support us to get that repaired, patched up.
I think alongside Easy Anti-Cheat, like, the topic of player cheating is not just an anti-cheat solve. Like, we've seen lots of great results from the last 3 months of actually putting folks into almost a reactive detection, prevention place of going, yes, we see players have found a way to be able to fly, but we put folks into the game experience, they find the telemetry for what they're doing, and then build in auto ban approaches that can be deployed live without new content updates. We've actually seen that as a really quick reactive approach, because it's going to take time for Epic to release sequential updates to Easy Anti-Cheat. I think we can go faster.
It's one of the quality pushes that we're trying to do behind the scenes as well. Like, for every new feature that goes in, make sure you have telemetry to back it up, because it allows us to do that detective diving of the.
There should always be more positives than an exciting plus. What I mean by that is, you don't want any negatives, maybe one negative at the very most, but you always want something fixed more than you add. Whatever you add, you can take it away and replace it with something fixed. Then you'll always be in the positive idea or perspective. What I mean by that is, basically, if you, let's say a negative, okay? Let's start with a negative. A negative is you break something in the game, right? Let's just say temporarily all harpoons are not usable. That's a big, massive thing, right? Big, horrible, massive thing. Changes the entire game. And let's say if it requires you to add, let's say, take away 5 or 6 ornaments from your boat. That's technically a negative, but if you take it away, then you get positive. Then you got working harpoon guns again, right? Let's say if there's a positive, if you take away, let's just say if you take away 5 or 6 items that you place. I know, how about this? You take away the ability to sit on your ship, right? Certain places that you sit. That's technically a negative, right? It's one less thing that you can't do. One more thing you cannot do in the game that you could in the beginning. But if you take it away, it takes away the ability for hackers to cheat and spawn on those certain spots. Let's just say, I'm just for instance, I would rather you do it that way than you would adding anything new, if that makes any sense. You add something new, and creates 1 or 2 negatives. That's definitely not a good situation. You want to always have a more positive thing than a negative thing, and you always want to delete one negative thing when you add a positive thing.
The data to find. And
That's confusing for me to describe that.
So, talking about
if you have
adding new
questions
things
about
into
it
the game,
in the actual video or whatever, just talk to me about it in the comments section. All right.
let's just go back and reflect on what we did add in season 14, because there's some really, really cool stuff in there.
There
and
is.
all the way to a rocky start. Let's chat about what we think. What's that brought to the sandbox? These new additions in season.
We mentioned a feature we'd originally planned for season 12, which was the grapple gun.
Yes.
So being able to, quickly grapple loot onto your ship, being able to grapple around the world. The grapple gun for us on the design team represents a slight change in how we think about the armory.
Right.
So the armory is a place where players can be served up new kinds of weapons, but that doesn't mean it has to be exclusively weapons. The armory is obviously where people manage their loadout, but using that as a way where we can give people the choice to take tools.
Take it away. I would rather see a tool that creates a pick or an axe, and you chop down a tree like 3 or 4 times, and you get like 5 or 10 wood from a tree. Make it into a survival, whatever. I would rather you do that than add a harpoon gun and count it as a weapon.
Give them new strategies.
And that affects negative ship battles. You're taking away too many things. It's negatives, right? Negatives. A negative is you're decreasing the amount of good, essential ship battles, ship combat. And you're taking away one extra item for a person to use as a weapon.
That's where the grapple gun came from, kind of broadening what the armory could be in the game. So that's interesting to think about when you think about where that could go in the future.
Yeah.
We obviously added the ability to crouch, only 6.5 years in. Something we always wanted to add in the game, but then coupling that with the ability to disguise yourself as a chest and a barrel. So we'd obviously had the barrel hide emote in for a while, but truly embracing that idea that you could disguise yourself. And
I'm still angry that they made it as a public, easy access emote. When I got the emote, I was told it was going to be a limited emote. They lied.
Waddling about his little chest and a barrel. Obviously, a little bit of inspiration there from classic games like Wind Waker. But like having that on demand was something that we wanted to add.
One of the videos that I tried to send to the team to G them back up, going like, we can do this, you can do this, was the cup and ball game, where you have 3 people disguised as barrels.
Oh,
and they just like
very good.
Can you find them like just seeing the level of ingenuity and just creativity that players are coming up with are using it is just superb. So.
And for the brief window that they were active, Christina, how did players react to them?
Oh, do you know what? Like I said earlier, they were just loved. They were universally loved, and all the best clips. And I think I said earlier, when we think about all the different use cases internally, like you think about hiding, how it might be kind of folded into strategy, not just like playing the cup and ball game, waddling for fun. And as soon as they went live, like they're really kind of the superstar of the first kind of 24 hours, to be honest, seeing how people were using them. So it's great to get them back into players' hands and see some of that stuff resurface. It's really brilliant.
I loved the trick where they went into the Gold Hoarder's vault at the end.
Oh,
yeah.
And everybody snuck up to the Gold Hoarder. He's sitting on his throne.
Captain Falcor, wasn't it?
Yeah, just sitting there. And I remember we were crafting out that sequence with the Gold Horse and keeping him in the dark. Yeah, when you walked across the trigger point and it started the sequence.
You, isn't it?
But now you've got loads of barrel people just wandering around it. And it's going.
He can't see that. He's blind.
No, he's not.
Oftentimes we talk about looking at tactics and things that emerge in the community, and obviously the phenomenon of tucking has always been big in the community, but trying to designing a feature that kind of speaks to that, but also does it in an unexpected way. So that's kind of the crazy idea that is disguises.
I really want to work on more on tucking in Sea of Thieves. I really need to start working more on tucking. I think it is a very, very cool, fun part of the game that even if you're just tucking for fun and you're just watching these other players play, it's still a lot of fun.
Well, you sort of described the features as like kind of classic Sea of Thieves sandbox like update. Obviously, we had the blowpipe in there as well.
We did.
We're adding to the blowpipe with the next month's update.
We are. So the blowpipe is very much the start for what could be a selection of darts that we add over time. We've got one planned for December, which is the Mimic Dart, which was one we got excited about in the kind of early creative process for the blowpipe. So the ability to shoot someone with a dart and steal their appearance and all the hijinks that could lead to. But no, the blowpipe's a great sandbox, tool / weapon that can be used out there. And, having this selection of darts that we can expand over time is pretty exciting as well. But I love that idea of it kind of feels like a classic weapon in our world, the idea of having this blowpipe out there on the waves and lurking in the shadows and firing darts into unsuspecting pirates. And then off the back of crouch and disguise is a complementary feature, is the ability to hang off ledges, which is a lot of fun. So yeah, the ability to be crouched, approach these kind of places earmarked on the ship where you can effectively hang on by your fingernails onto the side of the ship. So it's going to be fascinating to see how.
That would be more cool if it was more. If tucking was irrelevant. If tucking was irrelevant, that would be a lot more fun. But something like that doesn't personally make sense to me. Just how I think.
The community uses that.
Yeah. So as well as things like the Golden Scallywags, there's actually a lot to look forward in December in terms of game events. Do you want to talk about a little bit about what game events are on in December?
I'd love to.
You'd love to.
I'd love to. So,
I'm glad.
I'm glad Christina prepared.
Hence the laptop. No, so obviously, as players view this, we'll have just had hopefully a really successful Season 14 community weekend with lots of lovely goodies on offer and pop-up blunder.
Oh.
So I hope that you didn't get too tricked by the devious James making silly maps and tricking you all. No, it's a really exciting event. I can't wait to see it in players' hands and see how that goes. But then on December the 2nd, Legends Week arrives.
So that's what happens in Legends Week. We find legendary message in bottles washed up around the Sea of Thieves. Is that right?
Yep, we've got legendary messages in bottles. We've got legendary daily deeds, and then there'll also be double golden reputation on offer for any Athena's Fortune treasure successfully handed in. And then also we'll have an extra bonus. So for people who complete enough of the voyages, the legendary messages in bottles, they will get the Life of a Legend tattoo.
Oh, very cool.
Not
very
one
nice.
of Drew's. A legend with tattoos, but it was a very special bespoke one, which is really nice. Yeah, there's a lot on offer, and it's lasts a week, so it'll end on December 9th. And hopefully that gives players enough opportunities to discover these kind of in-world bottles and basically make stonks. Yeah, hashtag make stonks.
So a lot for Legends to look forward to. What else are we doing in December? Because there's lots. There's more than that.
So from December the 1st, our in-game decorations, our festive decorations will be switched on. Any candy canes? What's the law with the candy cane, actually, Mike?
The law with the candy cane? Oh, don't put me on the spot with that. I have to retcon that one.
And it's not just the tavern decorations, the Christmas tree's back as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Nice.
It is, isn't it?
No, it is. It is.
No, it is. It absolutely
we can
is.
afford it now.
Yeah.
Yes, from all the memory work.
Yeah, at one point I was labelled the Grinch for saying they couldn't have a bigger Christmas tree. So, yeah.
What's the point of having memory? You can't take it with you. It's there to be spent.
The age-old battle between design and engineering. We just talked about this.
Sorry. Yeah, Season 14. I'm back. Yeah, no, we should be careful.
So what else have we got? We've got daily gilded voyages.
Daily Gilded Voyage.
Very generous.
That is very generous.
Surprised that we got away with that one. Too generous. We've got daily lucky voyages.
They did it so then people would stop leaving.
We've got a login bonus. So we've got festive themed flag cosmetics. And we've just got daily gold and XP multipliers. We've got cool Emporium offers. We've got a few exciting bits and pieces going on with our creators and the partner program as well. We've got plenty to come in December to kind of surprise, delight, excite, and hopefully just make the season a really good time.
So lots to look forward to in December, and lots to look forward to as we go into the new year as well.
There is.
So you actually already have spoken a little bit about what
what I've said.
Yeah, what have you said about what players might expect in season 15? Do you want to, without maybe, let's not say more than you said already.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's my role.
That's what I'm here for. Yeah.
But yeah, what do you want to tease a few things about what players can expect? Yeah,
I'd love to. Absolutely love to. Well, I think players that have been with us for a while won't be surprised to hear that we've always wanted to expand the Hunter's Call. And there was a little clue, to be honest, in season 11 when we didn't expand the Hunter's Call at that time, that it may be something we're intending to do in the future. Why is that funny?
That's a bad clue.
No. I thought it wasn't.
The things that we didn't do.
No.
It's a clue.
All of the companies were expanded in terms of distinctions, except
you're
the
right.
Hunter's Call. That's what I'm referring to. So that was a statement. It's a silent promise. It was a silent promise to
How
our
much you
players.
hated the Hunter's Call?
No, not at all. No. We think about Sea of Thieves. You can be a treasure hunter. You can be a merchant. You can be a bounty hunter. So you can kind of be a hunter, but you're more of a fisherman. So the idea of expanding that company for greater ways of play, so adding voyages, enriching it with emissary play, it's something we've wanted to do for a while. So that is very much the focus of season 15. And generally, as we look into next year, off the back of this year, which has been pretty focused on enriching the sandbox with tools, and most recently with season 14, things you can do with those tools in that enriched sandbox.
Please don't tell me they're going to add a fishing net to stop players from moving. Please don't do that. Please. Or slow you down. It's no.
Is becoming more of the focus, and you can kind of see the appetite with the community. We're looking for new things, go in that direction now, where the sandbox is richer, but we want more destination, things to go do in that sandbox. So that's very much the shift as we head into next year.
Very cool. So Hunter's Call getting a little bit of love.
Hunter's Call getting a little bit of love, and also the Reaper's Bones.
Oh.
So expanding the Reaper's Bones with new activities is something we're looking at as well.
So I think you've kind of just touched on it there, but like, what is the ambition for next year? Like, this was a year of a lot of sandbox tools going in. What's 2025 for Sea of Thieves?
I think it is very much around new things for players to go do within that sandbox. I mean, over and above everything we've already said about the health of the game, the integrity of the live experience, that is absolutely a focus. But I think, tools are very much the lifeblood of the stories in Sea of Thieves, but I think adding completely new roles to play and new activities for players will become an increasing focus.
Awesome. Very cool.
I like the fact that you've looked to the midterm focus for next year. I think personally the focus, say in the next couple of months, is definitely going to be on the core game experience.
Very much so. I was teeing you up there.
And I think we acknowledge that that's our primary focus right now. Yeah. We know that we've got some great content to go and deliver. We've got great player stories that we know we want to unlock through new content. But it's kind of, we've talked a lot about content and features in the last couple of minutes, but our priority right now is to land an improvement to the core experience. And it's a tease, but it's not a particularly content-rich tease, that we're going to make decisions over the next couple of months to make sure that we prioritize our focus on that player experience and improving that. That might mean that we make some decisions about when we ship Season 15, in what configuration we ship Season 15, and we'll probably share more on that in the next couple of months. But right now, we know what Season 15 is going to be, but our priority and focus is stabilizing the experience so it's ready for Season 15 to then go on top of it.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I mean, it is a balance. I mean, after 6.5 years of new ideas, enriching the sandbox, I think that's the bit we know we can do.
Yeah.
The richer the game gets, the more full it gets of exciting things to go do. I think the greater importance game health and having that view on the integrity of the game, it just becomes more and more important.
On that 6.5 year note, what I'm excited about is part of my job at the minute is planning our 7th birthday party.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously Sea of Thieves turns 7 in March, which is outrageous. Outrageous, really. So we've got some cool irons in the fire where our 7th anniversary is concerned. So, like, in my midterm, I'm excited to see how far I can push designs buttons on how generous we can be. But we've got some cool things planned for that, which is really exciting. I think the anniversary always is a really significant moment for us, where we all kind of take a breath and look back at how amazing the last 6 years have been, and this will be no different.
Awesome. Well, I think that's enough teases for next year.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want any more?
No,
No?
I'm good. I've had my fill. So yeah, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And just to reiterate, the podcast is going to be a bit more regular than before, one per season. We'll try and do it halfway through a season. So look out for season 15's halfway through that. And yeah,
Happy holidays.
yeah, and have a happy holiday, and we'll definitely see you in the new year. Cool. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Cringe but good, I guess, is my comment. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to get off. So we're switching up over here. Is anyone here who would like to talk about it? Anyone here who would like to basically have a good little chit chat about Sea of Thieves and where it's going right now? We'll see what happens with season 15. I've been seeing positives about the game. I've been seeing positives about the player base. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if anything is actually fixed server wise, game wise. Rare, like everyone else, we pray, we hope you guys fix your stuff and it goes through and smoothly. Thank you everyone for being here. If you'd like to say anything in the comments, I would really appreciate if you have any ideas, suggestions, opinions. If you want me to talk about anything else about Sea of Thieves or Rare, communicate to me. I will actually try in my very best to figure out what I would like to talk about next. I'll see you guys in a few days in ways of Sea of Thieves content. Adios. Have a good one. Bye-bye.